Weirdos!
I'm Ashley.
I'm Lauren.
And you are watching
This Week in Weird!
Yeah. This Week in Weird is the new segment for the podcast, Keep It Weird. We're going to bring you some weird news. We're basically just going to tell you all the weird stuff that's happening in the world today.
There's a lot of it.
There's a hefty amount.
We have a weird world.
This is something that we've discussed on the podcast Keep It Weird before. Wink. Take a listen. It's called, and this sounds like I'm mispronouncing it. I'm not mispronouncing it.
Oh, gosh.
Magnetoreception.
Magnetoreception?
Magnetoreception.
When have we ever discussed this on the show?
Okay, so magnetoreception is the ability to sense magnetic fields. So we talked about it in the case of like cows, how cows, most animals have magnetoreception. Like all the butterflies that are migrating right now, they use magnets. They use like magnetism to know where to go. And dogs use it when they, if you notice, like when dogs are about to lay down, they like circle around and around before they lay down. Or this is crazy, dogs only face north or south when they poop.
No way.
So you'll see
them. Is that why
like,
they get so situated?
They're literally trying to find north or south.
Oh, doggies.
Cows all graze, like a herd of cows will all graze in the exact same direction unless they are near power lines.
Oh my gosh.
And then they get all discombobulated.
And they're like, what's up and what's down?
Animals have the ability to sense magnetic fields in the world, which is really cool and crazy. And about 30 years ago, scientists decided to try and test whether or not humans had that same ability.
Okay.
They failed. I mean, they didn't fail, but like the results said, like, no, we don't. Like, humans don't have it for whatever reason.
Okay.
But
Tell me more, like does he have magnetoreception?
So I had to pick up my notes because I'm going to have so many problems pronouncing these names. Recently, geophysicist Joseph Kirschvink and neuroscientist Shin Shimojo decided to revisit the idea.
Okay.
So 30 years ago when they tried to experiment with magnetoreception, they were attempting to test if people could sense changes in magnetic fields. So like if like they changed the magnetic field, would these people sense it?
Right.
Would they be able to tell?
Okay.
Sort of like the hearing test where it's like, tell us which ear you hear it on.
Right.
Same idea.
Like, raise your hand. No
one was able to do it, so they were like, well, we can't perceive
it.
Now these guys are actually focusing on brainwave activity alone. They figure if the brain isn't responding to the magnetic field, then there's no way the magnetic field can influence us. The brain has to perceive something in order to act on it, and this is a big factor in what's known as like extrasensory perception, which doesn't exist. It should be called like enhanced sensory perception, because like we have the senses that we have, and some of them can be more enhanced, and that's what this potentially might be.
Okay.
So anywho, they set up this crazy test involving a chamber that specifically was designed to filter out any outside interference.
Okay.
And it consisted of the Faraday cage, which shielded all the interior contents from the external electromagnetic fields.
Okay.
And then surrounded the participant who sat on a wooden stool, because it seems like a very dangerous room to be in.
Yeah.
And then that person was surrounded by, what are they called, merit coils, which I'm not really sure what that is. And then a battery-powered EEG was placed next to the participant, which was what they were hooked up with, which was connected to a computer in the other room. Okay. So basically what they did is they like put them in this electromagnetic room and hooked them up to an EEG and had them sit for an hour.
Okay.
And they would change the room's magnetic field. So it was the same power as the Earth's magnetic field. And then they would just shift it. And then they would try and see if these people noticed any difference or like if anything happened.
Anything was going on.
And all 30 of them said they did not.
Okay.
They didn't even know if like the people were doing
like,
anything.
has the test begun?
Yeah, they literally were like,
What?
did you do anything? But in at least 4 of them, their brains reacted each time.
There was some activity going on inside.
Yeah.
What was happening?
So that's very exciting. And they were
That is
able.
exciting.
The cool thing about this test is that they were able to repeat it. They were able to like do it over and over again for an hour, so they knew it wasn't a fluke. They were able to continue to do it. And it was just these 4 individuals that were able to, their body was reacting to it. Now, consciously, they were not reacting to it. So consciously, it doesn't seem like we have the ability to sense electromagnetic fields. But subconsciously, like biologically, we do.
We can.
Just like animals.
Interesting.
So
that's very cool.
I know. For the first time, clear responses to magnetic field changes were observed.
Ooh.
Which is very exciting. So now future experiments into this, now that we know, like, yes, there is an effect, future experiments into this are going to focus on, does it affect our behavior?
Okay.
So
that's interesting.
Yeah, it is the fact that we can sense it without knowing that we sense it. Does that affect us in any way?
Yeah.
So, like, how cool would it be if they find out, like, oh, yeah, this actually is a big factor in whether or not you suffer from depression and anxiety.
I was going to say, is this, like, mentally affecting you? That's crazy.
Or, like, does it affect, like, for the people that can sense it, does it affect, like, where you live in the country? Or does it affect relationships with other people? Like, there's so many things that it could, like, just
a lot that it could point to and, like, slightly alter. Mm-hmm. That's so fascinating.
Very exciting.
I can't wait to dig more into that.
Yeah. Oh, and also, you know, it could have something to do with the ability to witness paranormal activity and psychic abilities, too.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
Very cool. I'm into it. Science. Thank you guys so much for watching our new segment, This Week in Weird, which is part of the podcast Keep It Weird, which you can find on iTunes, Spotify, Libsyn, Google.
iHeartRadio.
Is Google a place? All the places where you find your podcasts.
Wherever.
You can subscribe to us on iTunes, give us a listen. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel to be the first to know when we put out new videos. Subscribe, like if you enjoy what you saw. Comment if you want to interact with us. We love to reply and interact.
We love to reply
and chat. Let us know what you want to hear. We're here for you.
And follow us on social media across all platforms at Keep It Weirdcast. Ding.